Hey everybody, Movie Reviewer Next Door here, and I'm back with another review. And this time, I saw Anna. It's a 2019 action thriller film directed by Luc Besson, and it stars Sasha Luss, Helen Mirren, Luke Evans, and Cillian Murphy. In this film, beneath Anna Poliatova's striking beauty lies a secret that will unleash her indelible strength and skill to become one of the world's most feared government assassins. So, what did I think of Anna? Well, I've really enjoyed this film every time I've seen it. I've seen it quite a few times at this point. I've been reading a little bit because of some things I've noticed now, but um, I still do really enjoy this film. Don't get me wrong. Let me get to the cast. Sasha Luss plays Anna Poliatova. Basically, I think she's meant to have been a prostitute. She's scooped up, brought into this line of work to basically save her. She becomes a government assassin, that whole thing. Sasha Luss is an actress that I have not seen in much. She hasn't been in a lot. I've seen three of the films she's been in. Um, she's been good in every film I've seen her in. But like her performance here is actually pretty impressive, given that this was her first starring role. Before this, she was in Valerian, another one of Luc Besson's films, where she played an alien, like a small role. But as a model turned actress, I think she did pretty damn good for again, for not having acted really. She I bought her in the action scenes. I bought her as this assassin type. She didn't look like a toothpick. And yeah, I think she was good casting. Helen Mirren plays Olga. She's basically her senior KGB handler. Helen Mirren, actress I love, seen her in many films, especially action. Recognize her from Red and Red 2. She's definitely someone I can buy as a badass. She continues that here. Um, and what would usually be kind of a thankless role, I think she does quite a lot with. She is kind of she's kind of a bit of a comedic edge that this film has, and she's also serious, but I liked her character. I think she did a good job with it. Sorry, my eyes are dry right now. You might see me tear up. I don't know why my eyes are so dry right now. But I really liked her in this. Luke Evans plays Alex Chenkov. He's basically her Anna. He's the guy that brought Anna on. I liked him in this. And Cillian Murphy plays. Sorry, my eyes are screwing on me. Lenny Miller, who's a CIA guy that basically wants to help Anna get out of this life. In exchange for her helping him get rid of somebody. I like Cillian Murphy. I think he did a good job with the American accent, given that he is Irish. But here's the thing. This film, back when it came out, bombed. Why did it bomb, may you be asking? Apparently an actress named San Van Roy came out about allegations against the director, Luc Besson, who is a very controversial figure due to certain things having to do with his first wife, which I disagree with and I think are weird and gross. Um, and allegations about everything. Most of what people are saying against him are allegations that haven't had anything added to them. And this movie came out 5 years ago. Nothing has been added to those allegations. The allegations came out specifically right when this movie was coming out, so that is a very easy thing to point to for why this film's advertising dropped. Um, like they stopped advertising it because of this controversy. And I remember seeing the trailer for this when it first came out. I was like, "Oh, Luc Besson. I recognize the name because my favorite film is Leon the Professional." And I'm not going to go on a rant about that right now and the controversies about that film right now because that's not the movie I'm talking about. If people want to talk about it in the comments, I'll talk about it with you, but I already addressed that in my review of it. Anyways, this film it sucks that this film got all this bad attention. Um, like got all of this bad attention because honestly, it's a really damn good movie. Like some people might not be into its structure. It is kind of an odd structure to have for a film. It's 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 one of those where if you're not paying attention, you could get lost. I can see people getting lost watching this film. Um, Also, if you don't get into the story, I can see you not enjoying the film. I got into the story. I enjoyed it. I um well yeah, I've always enjoyed this movie. First time I actually ever watched it, I was at Walmart and I randomly saw the Blu-ray for like $6 and I was like, shit, it's a pretty new movie. Back when I got it, it was pretty new. I watched it before I even started reviewing on Letterboxd because the last time I saw this movie was 2022. And I think I watched that with somebody. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, when I watched it back then, I was blown away. I was like, wow, there's a really interesting story here. The action scenes are very impressive. Luc Besson, even though I wouldn't say he's known for making straight up action films. Whenever there's action in a Luc Besson film, it's usually very, very well done. Be it, let me just look up some of his movies. The Family, even, which I remembered enjoying. Uh, there's Lucy, has a lot of very fun action. Leon has a lot of fun action. I haven't seen La Femme Nikita yet. Um, but yeah, like I've usually enjoyed his movies. I can't think of one I've hated so far or even disliked. Um, but this is a film where I'd say it's mostly a drama with some action in it. Whereas something like Atomic Blonde, which I just saw, said in the trailers it was a straight up action movie, and then it really kind of wasn't. And this has less action scenes than Atomic Blonde, but a much more interesting story. Because the story of Atomic Blonde bored the shit out of me. And if an action movie doesn't have at least slightly engaging plot, it's gonna lose me. Sorry about that. It's gonna lose me. So the plot here is pretty interesting, I thought, dealing with this character and the amount of layers that you have to go deep with her, reflected in its nonlinear timeline. Um, the fact that this character has many different alliances. It may not seem super original, but I'd say it's much more original than people are giving it credit for. Saying that it's a straight up piece of shit film, there's nothing to enjoy about it. Those types of people really need to watch more movies and really I'd say seeing this film like what 4 times at this point, I do truly understand pretty much everything it's going for. Um because this main character is I like when female action heroes are painted as imperfect. Like they can still do a lot of badass shit, but they also like bite off a bit more than they can chew at times. That happens in this. Some of the fight scenes, she's almost losing at times, and she, she gets better. And throughout the film, you're kind of watching. I don't know why it keeps pausing. Sorry. And you're watching her become better and better, size up the situation, and then beat everybody. And along with that, you still have the story of a woman who's doing this in order to get out of a shitty lifestyle. She's doing this in order to escape to a better life where she can just be free, do what she wants. And it's a pretty satisfying story, I thought. I thought it was well paced for the most part, even though it does have a couple moments where it lags a bit. It is a 2-hour movie. Um, I don't remember Leon having that problem. I remembered being fully invested in everything. Not that I'm not invested in this character. I am. I really do enjoy this character. But there are times where it's like, but with that, you you again have very fun characters to follow, like Anna. She's an interesting character. Olga, Luke Evans's character, and Kelly Murphy's characters. The film never gets too serious for its own good. Like it realizes that it's kind of a pulpy premise and to not take itself insanely serious, other than like the opening scene, which is more of just setting you up for stuff to come. Sorry about that. And a couple things throughout the story, the tone never really massively dips into something different. It's a lot of fun. Um, and again, if you're not into the story, I can understand you not being into the movie. But I could get into the nonlinear thing. I liked when it would reveal something different that was actually happening and why, oh, why is this character acting like this? Oh, that's why. I like that. I think it's interesting to challenge your audience in that way. Um, there's you also have a really good score by Eric Serra, who worked on Leon, I think La Femme Nikita, um, GoldenEye, which I really enjoy the score to GoldenEye. Apparently, a lot of people don't. Um, Again, the action scenes are very well choreographed, very well done. Not a ton of like shaky cam or quick cutting. That's how I like it. Um, the I if I have to talk about some bad things that I'm not a fan of, the cinematography at times does this thing that drives me up a fucking wall. Maybe it's only me, but does this thing where it'll like be mid shot and then it'll like do a zoom in on a character or a zoom in on the scene like they didn't plan the shot right or something like that. I haven't really noticed this from what I remember in any of Besson's other films. So it's just kind of like, wait, why didn't you reshoot that? And it was a little annoying at times. I'm not a fan of that kind of like, oh, just make it up cinematography. It just looks kind of lazy. Um, Film also has some technology issues because it's set in 85, 87, and 1980, I think. And there's a bit in 87 where Sasha Lys's character has a laptop and she's filling out a form for the Navy. And this has always been kind of weird to me. I was like, wait, this is 87? And she has a laptop. And I looked it up. Laptops did technically exist, but were not owned by the general public. And showing where she is, they do say that her father worked in the armed forces. I forgot which part. It or was in the military in some way. But that doesn't exactly explain how she has a computer. And also, even if that does explain that away, she's filling out a form that is on a website. From what I remember, it was on a website. And the first website wasn't invented until like a year or two later. So I'd say that was a bit of a continuity error or a bit of a time period error. There's also a bit with security cams being next to an ATM. And since this is 87, I was like, I looked that up. And technically, there were security cams in certain places in the 70s and 80s, but they weren't a normal thing until 1990. So mostly just like weird stuff like that I was like, this doesn't really need if it I mean, I know they picked this time period because this was back when the KGB was still around or still a bigger thing, but it does seem kind of like a weird oversight to make when they've put all of this detail into the clothing, into the set design, the and the whole like modeling aspect feels very genuine. It feels like they had actual people like talk about like, oh, this is what models were into in the time. Um, the 80s music thing. There's only a couple 80s songs in this, and I think that was a good choice because when you just pack your movie full of 80s songs during every scene, it can get kind of numbing, like in Atomic Blonde. The times that they're used in this film actually work. There's a bit where they play Pump Up the Jam during a modeling sequence in like the first 10 minutes, and it actually fits with what they're doing. There's a bit where they play that In Excess song. That over here. The I got to let you know that song. They're playing this during a like montage sequence showing Anna doing a bunch of hits, um, which actually worked, and they time it to the music at times, which was cute. I like that. And overall, this is just I'm glad I own this on 4K because this is a nice looking film. It's fun. If they ever did make a sequel with Anna in her new life or something, that could be cool. It doesn't need to be because it is kind of its own little contained thing, and the ending is like kind of bittersweet in that way. But I really enjoyed my time rewatching this, and I hope other people, if you're not super into Atomic Blonde, will give this a try. But yeah, that was my review of Anna. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, down below. And movie review next door. Out.